Welcome to How the Blank, presented by What the Blank, and this is
How the Todd McClain.
So hi Todd, and welcome to How the Blank.
Hey, How the Blank.
Yeah, so this is our podcast. We've kind of talked to you about it a few times, how we wanted to have you on it, and How the Blank is pretty much all about things that we want to talk about and how it works, right? And how entertainment is.
things that make you say How the Blank.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. And so we got How the Blank, we got What the Blank, we got Who the Blank.
Yep.
Maybe Why the Blank one day.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. We kind of wanted to talk to you about how you got introduced to What the Blank and how you're involved and kind of what you do as an entertainer.
Certainly, absolutely. You only kind of wanted to talk to me about it? Are you?
Yeah.
That's just how I talk, because
I don't.
It's socially awkward.
we always go on tangents. That's why.
It's your tism.
Yeah, it is. Even though I don't have it.
You kidding me? That makes sense. I kind of want to talk to you because I'm going to do a lot of talking and go on some tangents. I get you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, how did you get to know us?
For my birthday last year, I wanted to do something where I got away from everybody and everything, and decided to book a cruise on Carnival Cruise, going all the way down to Ensenada, Mexico. It was my first ever cruise, and I was on there. Went to the comedians there put on a little clinic of talking about how to become a comedian or whatnot, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely go down and check that out because I like to peruse around entertainers, and it seemed like it would probably be pretty small, so you might get to know the comedians a little bit. They were doing some talking, and then they did a meet and greet afterwards, and Braxton raised his hand and started talking about puppets, and I was like, bing, I was like, we got a puppeteer here? Like, that's crazy, because how many times do you find two puppeteers in one place?
If you go to a puppeteer convention or something, but
Puppeteer convention.
Yeah.
I tend to stay away from those. I've only technically been to one. It wasn't even a convention. It was Skirball Center hired me to entertain at their puppet festival a couple times. But yeah, that's the only time I've gone to like a festival or a convention, and that's usually what they have is festivals. Not they do have ventriloquist conventions, though I have not been to them. But yeah, that's something
that sounds fun.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Braxton had did that, and then I was like, oh, I gotta talk to him. But he was with a group, and they scooted off, and I was like, I'll find him because it's a small ship. They did a little dance thing, and later in this little area, and they let's see, I went to that, and Braxton came up, and so I started talking to Braxton. I was like, oh, so you're a puppeteer. Started getting to know him and ask about what he does and stuff. He started talking about Quincy and Friends, and showed me pictures, and I was like, all right, I'll show you pictures of what I do, and became friends. So
It was lots of fun. Yeah, I was there with a bunch of clients. I was working actually on the cruise, not like for the cruise line, but with special needs adults. I was pretty much their caregiver while on the cruise, because the company that I worked for at the time, we focused on dreams, needs, and abilities, and that was one of like a bunch of the clients' dreams, is to go on a vacation without their families, that they could just have fun. Right.
Isn't that everybody's dream, to go on a vacation without their family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went on that, and that's where I met Todd, and we stayed connected, and it's been awesome. We've gotten a lot out of it.
Hell yeah. It's been absolutely amazing. Yeah, so after the cruise, yeah, we connected and started chatting a little bit, and talked about, you know, what we could do together and whatnot, and maybe how I can get up to Utah because I'm in Southern California, and connect. And yeah, you guys, we did a little meeting stuff, and I was telling you how I needed music, so you connected me with the amazing Jackson. Yeah. Who we've been spending a lot of time chatting together, email talk, and texting, and yeah, cranked me out some awesome songs for my show, which has leveled up my show and my bookings. And next week I'm going to be launching Captain's Bubble Song,
Yes,
like official launch. So
I'm so excited. That was a long road, man. That took a long time to get done, but I'm so glad that it's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not a singer, so me getting, you know, voice on track is something. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So how many songs did you and Todd work on? Like, how many songs total did you guys get?
That's a great question. Well, let's see. We have your Dancing Dads bit, which has how many songs in that one alone? Like, there's like 7-ish or something like that.
yeah, because there's the can that it starts with, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dancing songs, which there's a disco. Well, actually more than that, but there's 5 that we do, and then there's a country western. There's a what's it called? The Nutcracker.
Yeah, the ballerina Nutcracker one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and then it ends with the can. So yeah, it's a lot of songs just in that one 5-minute song.
Yeah, there's that, and then I also did "Ladies of Rock and Roll for You," which that one took a while to do, but that was a fun one to work on. And then Bubbles. And then we have Funny Bunny, or Funny Kind of Bunny is another one of the newer ones, and a couple of newer ones that we're also working on as well right now. And then your new I've got a dance group track.
Oh yeah, I got a dance group. And,
yeah,
and to describe each of those really quick too, because the Bubble Song came, I'll tell you what it came from. Was we were performing at a theme park, and a friend has a bubble cart where it just blasts bubbles everywhere, and there's been probably about 10 different entertainers that have been on this bubble cart, each one saying, I'm gonna, you know, do this bit and that bit with the kids. And we tell everyone the same thing: you're gonna get out there, the kids are going to ignore you, and just it's all about the bubbles. That's all they care about. And every entertainer's tried, and none of us have been successful. And these are like really high level, good entertainers. It's because the bubbles, you know, are the main attraction.
They float above you.
Yeah. And so I started singing a song anytime I saw bubbles when I was performing in a theme park, and that's where this song started to happen. And then I would test it out with kids. And then talking to Jackson about it, I was like, all right, well, let's put something together. And he put an awesome track on. And then there was multiple versions that I was singing and getting it going. But yeah, and that's the joke to me, is I know that kids, when the bubbles are going, they're going to ignore everything that I say. And it's just about bubbles. However, I've realized since I've been performing this lately is that the kids are actually listening to the song, and there's a part where I say, "Oh, make bubble sounds with your mouth," and the kids are making the noise with their mouth, and I say things like, "Oh, what do you like about bubbles?" And they'll start saying it, and I'm like, they're actually listening to the song. I never thought they would.
That's awesome, dude. We'll put the link into the in the video, so then they can go find the song for you. When this video comes out, we'll have that linked in there for everyone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bubbles for all.
Yeah.
Put it on your Spotify.
Yeah. So besides just music, how else do you connect with What the Blank? What other ways have you helped us, or what other ways are you connected with us?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm so into the music stuff right now that I'm like, yeah.
There's just so much.
So you, I mean, that's kind of more for you to talk about specifically, but you have your own program teaching children acting, and you have your own style with it. I'll let you, talk about that because it's
Yeah.
yours. But yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to help get uh, a lead way with. I have children's books, 4 children's books, and I thought it'd be a great idea to have you put these books in as a play for your program. And we were testing it out and playing with it, and you went out to a school and made it happen. So that's more for you to talk about, but that's
Yeah. Go
how it
for it.
worked out.
So yeah, it's the K.I.M Project, as everyone knows, because I've been blasting it on our
All of our
on our
episodes.
podcast so much. It's like every episode now.
Deal with it.
But pretty much we are using the Captain Talltale characters and plays that you're writing, or we might devise. We haven't fully discussed it. Yeah. But and all these wonderful things, right? And we and we're going to use them to use connection, energy, and movement to connect with the characters and really bring these characters to life and have the kids have that power, right? A lot of places, right, don't let kids play, with it. They just memorize, do, right? If you don't do it, right, you're going to be a failure, right? Well, I don't want anyone to feel that pressure. I want them to discover the characters and make the characters come to life, right? And really play around with it. And that's why I was like, when talking to you about your books, I was like, oh yeah, getting these in to the K.I.M Project will make it so much better than doing a show that has been done thousands of times over and over and over again, and the kids are just rote and say the same things and do the same things every single time.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I'm so grateful we have that connection, and we're getting it up June 24th through July 31st, and so come register online on whattheblank.org. We're so excited, and we're gonna have Captain Talltale himself visit us, so we're excited for it.
Yep. Make sure you get a building that's 8'3" at least.
And the kids are really loving the books. They're loving all the pictures that come along with it, and you've handed out a few at the schools.
Yeah, so I've handed out 6 so far to different schools and different people.
I pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
To promote the K.I.M Project and stuff, and every single person has connected to 3 characters: Captain Talltale, the Pirates, and JR. Those are the 3 that they're like, I want to be this one. Oh no, I want to be this one. There were kids literally in the K.I.M Project test day that were fighting over who got to be like Captain Talltale and who got to be JR. Right? It was so funny because I had them come up and be like, okay, who's gonna be our Captain Talltale? And everyone is like, I want to be and they're literally pushing and shoving each other.
That's awesome.
No, I want to be right. And it was great. And luckily we got it controlled, right? And once we picked it, all the kids are really understanding, and it was so cool to act out the first book. And we're so excited to act out the second and the third and the fourth once the K.I.M Project comes around. And what's cool about the K.I.M Project, it's not just acting, it's all aspects of theater, right? Because we're putting the whole show together and having the kids be the front runners, and we're just helping them make their dreams and make the show theirs, right? And a lot of places don't do that because they say it's too chaotic, but if you have the right system, it's going to be amazing, right? And so that's why we teach the basics how we do, and that's why the basics are so important, because a lot of people skip the basics and go into memorization. Be like become the character. You're not the character. Like all this weird mind crap.
I just like being the pirate.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny.
You did make a good pirate.
Oh yeah, because we did a test with you, right? When we first.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your experience with it? Like, how did you like it?
I liked the pirate because you could be literally anything. It's kind of like the same as like doing a clown in a haunted house, like where there is no like wrong way to do it, especially with how it's written, where there's so many pirates in the book.
Yeah.
And so I just got to make so many different personalities and put them all in the character. And the script was very well put together in how we interacted with JR and with Captain Talltale to make it where there was really like a nice flow to it while still maintaining your creativity.
Yeah, and I love the games that we do. One of my favorite games is definitely the connection game, where like you pass the ball around and you say something about yourself really quick, right? That's one of my favorite games. Did you have a favorite game that like we played?
Probably the ball one was my favorite.
The ball one.
Yeah.
What about you, Todd?
I like the acting. That's definitely something that I when you get to embody the character and walk around and
The movement one.
movement, because that's goes back to the early days of improv. One of the first things that I learned, which was just letting you walk and lead by a certain body part. And it's kind of the same thing with that is, oh, like how would this pirate walk? How would JR walk? Like what's his intention and whatnot. And so
5'3" person.
yeah. Yeah.
How did you come up with the concept for all of these stories and the idea of Captain Talltale and whatnot?
So ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to, and that's actually a really long story. But when I was a kid, I wanted to have my own kids' TV show. I was a big fan of Pee-wee's Playhouse, Mr. Rogers, and there's such an interesting history behind all of them, how they're connected through the years. You go all the way down to Howdy Doody and all these kid shows of how they evolved over the years. And I just watched all of that when I was a kid. I mean, I was in front of the TV way too much as a kid, but it helps my imagination. And now I barely watch TV at all. But so when I was a kid, I really wanted to have a kids' TV show. I really loved puppets, even as a kid. And there's an evolution to my own growing with that from when I was in kindergarten, being asked what I wanted to do when I grew up, to being in the third grade, having a teacher that worked at Disneyland, Mr. Bauer, who I just got to see a couple weeks ago. My third grade teacher came out and saw me entertaining, which was a really great thing because he was a huge inspiration to my life. And so, but and I mean, he really pushed a certain aspect of my life because he would talk about working at Disneyland as an entertainer. And when I turned 18, I went and became an entertainer at Disneyland. And that was my first real job. So we yeah so and rewind a little bit, in the fifth grade we did a talent show where I got to have a dummy. It was a clown dummy, Bozo the Clown, and I wrote this act out, and it was like a 5-minute act of jokes that I would just go over with this dummy. And at the end of the performance, kids just jumped up and were clapping and cheering and like was so excited that it was the best feeling I ever had in my life at that moment. And right then in my brain, I went, I'm going to be a puppeteer when I grow up. And so I later became a puppeteer, and here I am still puppeteering.
Puppets are awesome. Like I love seeing a lot of those. Like they look sweet. Like what you've shown me has been incredible, right? Like we'll have to get some images from you so we can put it on the podcast of like some of your stuff. it's so cool. I think puppeteering changes so much, and so like that kind of got you into more of that. And then what got you to do like this solo thing? Like,
I'll say that again. Sorry.
how did it get you to where you are now? Like,
Oh yeah. So yeah, thanks for leading that. I go off on my own tangents.
yeah.
Uh, so being an entertainer at Disney, and then I performed at many other theme parks in Southern California. Um, I kept I kept not liking working for people.
Oh yeah, it's really
And yeah. And I still had that thought in my head. I want to have my own kids TV show. So I kept working at it, trying to figure out what I wanted to do and how it would all come together. And then in 2007, I was working at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I've got Invisalign, so it's hard to articulate. Six Flags Magic Mountain, and I was just sitting there one day, and am a stilt walker, so I really love stilt walking too. So there's puppetry, there's stilt walking, and as I was um, sitting there thinking about all this, like, what am I going to make for a kid show? I was like, well, I'll make a character that likes to tell stories. And so all right, I'll call him Tall Tale. And then, my brain was working through it. And I was like, well, like, who likes to tell stories? I was like, captains like to tell stories. So I made it Captain Tall Tale. And then I was going to make him a fisherman, which I threw out later. And now he's an adventurer. And so that was 2007. 2008, I started performing as him. Uh, and it was a slow go of like building it and trying to get like costumes for the character and see what I was going to do with it. And in 2010, I was trying to figure out how to like progress it, how to make a kids TV show, or where to start. Like, and so I was like, oh, I guess I'll write a children's book. But that children's book didn't get made and published until 2016 because it just took me so long to put the stories together and figure it all out. And all that time, I'm building like a world around the character and entertaining and trying to figure it out. So yeah, there he is, Captain Telltale 2016, had, the children's book. And it's so interesting because I was performing him for so many years that once I had the book, people looked at me different and they had this spark in their eye when they see the book and they see me and they go, oh, you're really doing this. Like, like I wasn't actually anything until I had something substantial to show for it. And so I just continued with the books because I decided to make it a 4-part series. And that was always in my brain from the start of it. Kind of a continuational story like the Lone Ranger series back in the days. But that's how it got me to here now, where I'm performing, entertaining, and we're getting it going. I still haven't made the kids TV show. I did some YouTube stuff to try to test out some things, which it's tough because you got to have the money, you got to have the time, the energy to make it all happen. And a lot of people throw at me like, oh, why don't you go to Nickelodeon? Which the thing of it is, when you go to places like that, they take it over and you really don't have much of a say so. So I'm trying to get as much strength behind it and a following behind it so that when it actually gets out there, and if, Nickelodeon or somebody else, Netflix or something jumps in and goes like, oh, let's do something, I have some power where I can say like, this is what we're doing exactly. We're not shifting. Like, you're going to have to let me have control, because this is about making morals, helping children in the world, and there's too many TV shows that do not do that. And as you see, it's all about selling merchandise. That's what their number one thing is. So
we want to change about the entertainment industry is because a lot of like even music record labels and Hollywood, it's very controlling, and you don't have a sense of like your own personality really. Like, you're being pushed and peddled as this character or this persona that they want you to be. Pretty much like, you basically like come up and say, this is what I do, but then they put you into this thing, and then they put you in these costumes, and then they make you do all these things, and a lot of times they make you do things that you don't want to do, and so it really messes with people's heads and their psyche and their minds and their spirit pretty much, and that's what we want to change about it. And we don't want to like control what people do with their creativity and imagination. We want it to thrive and, you know, allow them to actually show what they can actually provide and, you know, do it on their own pretty much. And we're just kind of in the back, just pushing them along. Like, this is you, man. Like, we're just here supporting you and making this happen for you. So that's what I've always liked about being part of this company too, is being able to help out with these projects and all the different events and everything that we're, you know, able to start setting up. And even with you as well, like supporting you with your events at Castle Park and everything, like being there and watching you do it and supporting you and helping you with all of your songs on that. Like that's just what I want to be able to do, is support.
Yeah, and like your morals, right, and my morals, right, that's kind of what kept us connected. Because I remember we were both talking about how we wanted to make sure that kids were taught good functional coping mechanisms, and if they're not taught that, they're not going to truly succeed, or they're just going to go through life sad. Yep. So we're nearing the end of our time, so we just wanted to say a few more things, like kind of our last like thoughts and promos that you want to put up.
Yeah, let's get a plug in for Todd.
Yeah.
Yes, but first off, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time to come out and talk with us and tell us a little bit of your origin story and where you're going to go. And we're so happy to have you with the K.I.M Project. We're happy to be able to do music with you and overall just support you along your journey.
Yeah, it's already been a lot of fun working with you, and I've enjoyed having this experience just working on these projects and these songs, and even being at one of your events in person. Like, it was so fun being able to watch the kids just have so much fun at your event and go up to the bubbles and pop the bubbles and not even listen to what you're saying. But it's the funniest thing, and it's so fun to be able to like watch that in person and see you just so tall, man. It's like a different experience actually seeing you in person. But that's what I want to be able to see more of in the future, is like more of you, more of whatever else we're able to do with other people in the future. And that's pretty much what I want to be able to see more of and help support all of it.
Yeah. So what do you want to plug in, Todd? What do you want to promote?
So there's 4 children's books: Captain Talltale, How Captain Talltale Became Tall, Part 1. Part 2 is Culture Island. Magic Beans is number 3, and Beanstalk is number 4. They're all available on Amazon. You order them there, and they're the softcover print books. There's also part 1 through 3 is available on Kindle as well. But you know, having a nice book in your hand is the best thing in the world. So that's what I always say. You know, and you know, they're shareable. So after you're done with reading a book that you can have in your hand, you know, definitely pass it off to somebody or you keep it. You know, and that's what I get a lot of is kids. Parents come to me all the time and they're like, my kid wants to read your book at least once a week. Read your book once a week, not their book. And you know, some parents are like, I'm getting sick of it. My kid's not.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's great. And there's a dance in the book. The parents always tell me the kids love the dance, which you can see on YouTube. And if you want to go on Captain Talltale's YouTube, it's Captain Talltale, Talltale. You know, some people think I have a tail. I don't know why. Yeah, and then the music, we have one song. It's Captain Talltale's Victory Dance, which is available on all the platforms that you get music on. You know, Spotify. You can watch it on YouTube. And then now the Bubble song is going to be released April 12th. I don't know my math, but yeah, April 13th, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. And then there's Captain Talltale Live. Captain Talltale performs at fairs. He'll be at the Douglas County, Colorado Fair in July and August. He performs at Castle Park on Saturdays. Let's see, he does daycare shows. He's out there just performing for anything, just about.
And
There
people
was
can book these on your website. Is that where?
yeah, that's the best place to find me, CaptainTallTale.com.
Now, everybody
Yeah.
go check out these books.
Yeah.
We're gonna put links to these in the description below in our in the description of the video. So
Yeah.
be sure to check those out and get direct access to Captain Talltale and Todd.
Yeah, and please contact us and register for the K.I M Project. It's coming up.
Yeah.
We're excited for it, and please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Spotify.
Yep. And if you want to help out with projects or work with us in the future, go to our website at whattheblink.org. My mic just fell. Or if you want to work on projects as well, you can always contact us at whattheblankentertainment@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, and see you, Todd. Thanks for everything, and bye.